We are the Fit My Lamps family. We are a family. Our hearts are bound.
Hello, boys and girls. My name is Auntie Mara, and I'm so excited to tell you this story. There's a verse it comes from, but I'm not going to tell you where. So your homework is to look for it and get in touch with me and tell me where you found it from. And I might just have something for you. So there's a lady called Mrs. Chimuti. And in Zimbabwe, it is a custom that when you stay in the village, there are forests where you have to go and find firewood. So she wanted to find firewood to cook that day. And the forest she went to was thick, so there were tall trees and lots of animals. So one day she went, and while she was walking, she heard a very strange sound. So she then continued walking, but very scared, and thought to herself, what is happening? But the second time she heard that sound, it was unmistakable. She knew what it was. So it went something like, "Rah!" And she dropped her firewood and began to run and looked for a tree and found a very tall tree, and she climbed onto the tree. So this thing she heard then came and went underneath the tree. But because the tree was really tall, it couldn't climb up to where she was. So she stayed put in the tree and looked at this animal, and the animal gazed up to her. And it went on for moments, and the animal then just gave up and said, you know what, I'll come back for my prey. So Mrs. Chimuti was up in the tree, and she was sitting and she was thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I'm so hungry. But you know, she sat there and the sun set, and she fell asleep. So one night she was in the tree, and the next morning she woke up and looked around, and she could not find that animal. So she was so excited and jumped down from the tree and said, yes, that animal is gone, so I'm going to get my food. So she ran, and went to the grocery store and found Mr. Ncube, who was selling food, and said, Mr. Ncube, you know what? I can't talk to you right now. There's terrible things that are waiting for me where I've come from. And I really need you to do something for me really fast, because there's things that are waiting for me. So I want a half bread and a Fanta. I want to eat it fast and get back to the problems that I left. So Mr. Ncube is wondering, okay, what is happening to Mrs. Chimuti? And nonetheless, he gives Mrs. Chimuti the half bread and the Fanta. And Mrs. Chimuti takes it gladly and runs back to the tree and climbs up the tree. And she's like, whoa. Thank goodness that lion is not yet back. So now she sat on the tree and started eating a half bread and Fanta, and she was so happy. So around sunset, as is the custom of lions, that's when they usually go hunting. And so the lion came back and looked up at the tree, and Mrs. Chimuti looked down at the lion and said, I'm here, I'm safe, and I'm full. And the lion was like, I'll get it, it's okay. So the second day, the lion missed the prey again. So Mrs. Chimuti slept in the tree again, and on the second day, around 12 noon, the same thing started happening, and her tummy started grumbling, and it was time to go and find Mr. Ncube. So she jumped down the tree again and ran, and went to Mr. Ncube and said, Mr. Ncube, same order as yesterday. And Mr. Ncube is wondering, what is going on with Mrs. Chimuti? She comes here every day around this time, and she wants these things, but she always says she has problems. So anyway, Mr. Ncube just brushed it off, and Mrs. Ncube ran, and Mrs. Chimuti ran back and went up the tree. And on the third day, the lion decided to come earlier than usual to see what was really going on. And so it hid behind a stone and watched her from a distance, and she jumped down the tree and checked around, and the lion wasn't there. And she ran as usual and got her order and came back. But on the fourth day now, the lion had mastered what Mrs. Chimuti was doing. And so it said, it's fine, I'll watch her. And now Mrs. Chimuti was relaxed, because, she had been successful over the past 3 days, so she had nothing to worry about. So now she jumped down and she went to Mr. Ncube and got her what? A half bread and Fanta. Good. And got it, and now she decided, why should I eat it up a tree? It's so uncomfortable. So she started walking, and while she was walking, like a Daisy Kali, she started eating her half bread and Fanta. And now she's full, and she hasn't reached the tree, and her tummy is big, and she's just tired. And then the lion started to walk slowly and slowly and slowly and pounced on her. And man, the lion got Mrs. Chimuti. Boys and girls, how many times has God saved us from the little sins we commit? You remember that time, Sibu, when you wanted to steal sugar? And then you went to the kitchen and took a teaspoon and took some sugar? Or the time you dipped your finger in that bottle of peanut butter? Or the time you lied to Daddy that you were going for a church program and you went for a party? Or the time young, older boys and girls when we went and fornicated and did bad things, but God delivered us. But we continue going back to the same sins. The Bible tells us that we can run away for a number of times, but if we are not sober and vigilant, the devil will get a hold of us and attack us. So once God allows you to run away and overcome sin, do not return to those sins like Mrs. Chimuti. Once you have been set free, run away from your lives, be sober and be vigilant, because the devil is like a roaring lion seeking whom to devour. But we are more than overcomers, not because of us, but because of Jesus Christ. May God bless you.